Welcome to another episode of Rugby. Francois, the past week or so, again, a lot of noise in social media about what is a rugby school, what's not a rugby school, what must you do to be a rugby school, and that kind of stuff. Previously, and I had a long think about this, previously we said a rugby school must have A, B, C, D sides in the age groups, and they must have first team till sixth team in the open sides. So that left us with about 7 or 8 rugby schools in South Africa. Then I had a discussion with not an intelligent guy, but yeah, he was quite intelligent. And according to him, a rugby school is a school where rugby is played and the kids are allowed to play against opponents that match their abilities. It doesn't matter if it's got only an A team or an A and a B team. That's what a rugby school is supposed to be.
Carl, you're upsetting the apple cart here. But it's very interesting that you...
Yeah, think about it. I mean, why must a school not be called a rugby school because they don't have 1,200 boys to play rugby? It's well known that hockey has taken about 50% of the rugby players away from rugby. So the whole, it's changing the whole time. And we always have fights because of a school like Garsfontein calling themselves a rugby school, and then everybody says, no, but you're not a rugby school.
Because you only field 3 teams.
You're only an 8-team school.
Cool. Yeah.
But on that a rugby school. So they don't have 5 under 14 teams, although they have the same amount of boys, or more or less the same amount of boys than Affies have. I think 200 or 300 less. But so why can't we call them a rugby school?
So should we not be looking then at what is in place at that specific school to develop and support rugby?
But that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
shouldn't that be the qualifying criteria?
A rugby school should be a school where the pupils of that school is allowed to play rugby, gets developed properly, and gets to play against opponents that suit their level of rugby.
Which I think is fair.
I mean, that should be a rugby school. That brings us to another question, and now I'm going to get hate mail from Affies. Is a school like Affies good for the rugby community in Pretoria?
Okay, let's quickly look at Affies. They are able to easily field up to, I think, an H team in each age group.
F team.
Or even a F team, definitely, even sometimes more than that.
So is it good for Pretoria? Let's have a look at Pretoria. Is it good for Pretoria that we have an Affies? Because I'm sure the kids of a C and a D team could easily play for the B or even the A team of a Garsfontein, a Waterkloof, a Menlo Park. Let's not, I mean, only those 3 schools will benefit so much if Affies are limited to a A, B, C team.
So what you're implying is that the players will end up in those other schools.
So that's the question. And I mean, Affies is a rugby school according to the current norm, but Garsfontein and Waterkloof and Menlo Park not, because of their numbers of players. But is there a space or is there enough talent for another Affies? And we're talking now about the Afrikaans medium schools. You've got a Pretoria Boys High that matches Affies more or less.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we must be honest with ourselves, we must close down Menlo Park and Waterkloof in order for Garsfontein to become competitive with Affies.
Yeah. Just looking at numbers.
Not even numbers, quality of players.
As well, yeah. Interesting, yeah.
So, what is a rugby school? The paddle is fine, they've got 2 schools. And both of them are rugby schools according to the current norm.
Are they though?
Paul
Gim's got 500 boys, or 500 to 600 boys. Paul boys are 800 boys.
But they still field a lot of players.
Yeah.
So, but that's the whole thing. Francois, to me, I changed my mind. A rugby school, according to me, is a school where kids are getting to play rugby at a level they are and have quality coaching to improve their level skills.
Yeah. I must just add, Carl's now caught me out with this one. cleverly, because it's got me thinking as well now. The way we should be looking at what is a rugby school is actually very, very interesting. Food for thought.
Yeah, and like I said, Pretoria is a big town. It's a big city. We don't have enough players in Pretoria for 2 Affies.
Yeah, size, type of, yeah.
Well, quality of play. Let's forget about the size.
And quality of play, yeah.
I mean, that's as simple, because we sit with Affies that's dominating the underage groups. I don't think Affies has lost 1 game against a Pretoria school in the underage
The lower age groups now. Yeah.
So, why not give a Menlo Park and a Garsfontein and a Waterkloof space to say, but I'm also a rugby school. I also have a rugby program.
Maybe, I think it's better changing the criteria of a rugby school.
So yeah, or let's close Waterkloof and Menlo Park. That'll make it easier for Affies, because Affies, Menlo Park nearly upset at Affies first 15 like Garsfontein did. But you understand my question? What is a rugby school?
Yeah.
And do we really need to sit down and say, you must have an A, B, C team?
Or we should be look at what structures do you have placed to develop the child, no matter what.
But that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
That should be the definition of a rugby school, the criteria. What do you do to improve the level of your school?
And let's forget about the numbers.
So yeah, those mommies and poppies sitting there, Club 600 next to me, that says Garsfontein is not a rugby school, Waterkloof is not a rugby school. Those guys really try hard. But yeah, I heard Affies even gave Menlo Park, what's it thing they do with the sticks?
No.
Hockey, no?
Hockey, yeah, hockey, they even beat them with the hockey.
They even beat them
Die
with
Witstokke.
the hockey.
Yeah, well done, the Witstokke.
But I would love your
views on this.
Views on this. It's just, I had a simple discussion with a normal guy that's really upset because his school is, I think, playing in the third tier of the Noordval competition, and everybody says they are not a rugby school. They've got coaches that works from 2 o'clock in the afternoon till 7 o'clock at night trying to improve their people, their players and everything. But it does not take away that the coaching and the competition and everything that an office add to the development of your player, that does not take away that criteria.
No, definitely not.
So I will still not put my kid in a team that's playing in the third tier, although the coaches are working their backsides off and everything. They cannot develop the kid game-wise as an Affies do, as a Garsfontein do, as a Menlo Park, as a Waterkloof do. I hope let's see if this...
Shaken the hornet's nest a bit there, but it's good.
And Affies, I still love you. Yeah. I do speak Afrikaans. I don't hate you.
Yeah. Interesting. Food for thought.
Great stuff.
Keep well.
Let us know.